Hello again. Now is the time to take some moments in your day to simply focus on yourself, to be with yourself, and to love yourself in this way. Allow all of your energy to naturally travel down to your heart. Be silent, be still in this sweet moment. It is a time in your life to tie any loose ends, to wind in the latest cycle as you move on to your next cycle. The energy of the Wheel of Fortune is strong in your heart. Meditate on it as you feel its vibrancy of fortune, changes, and significant cycles ending, and new ones beginning. You have moved through a challenging period. We all have as a community. You smashed through that level with your persistence, and now you have healed into a level of deep peace and relief. There is so much value in this peace and relief because you so earned it. All of it. A huge weight has been lifted. There is a new and evident lightness in your vibration. Take all the time that you desire to reflect on your unique journey. Celebrate your achievements within. And in your own time, slowly bring your awareness back to the present. Thank yourself for taking these moments to be intentional with yourself. When you feel ready, gently open your eyes. Namaste.
Hello Church of Union, my name is Christine and I will be doing today's card reading. I am using the Dragon Oracle cards, and the first card I have pulled is the Aquamarine Dragon from Neptune, this beautiful blue card. It enables you to access your deepest soul wisdom. Spirituality and wisdom are available to you. Develop your psychic abilities and receive ineffable soul knowledge. So this card is all about not seeking validation or answers outside of yourself. It's all about tuning in within yourself and receiving the answers and the wisdom you've been seeking. A lot of the times we can get caught up in asking other people their opinion on things or trying to find the answers in someone else, when what we should be doing is sitting down and feeling our feelings about the situation. And whatever arises, it can either be the actual clear answer, or it can be another piece showing you where you need to heal to receive that answer. So it's safe to tune into your heart and to listen, to develop that intuition, because it's really going to help you. It's also a message to grow in your confidence. You can trust the insights you've been receiving. You don't need to question yourself or doubt yourself. At this point, you've reached a certain level of spiritual maturity and you're able to tell what's really going on in your soul. You just need to listen to yourself. The blue color is also the color of the throat chakra, which means expressing yourself and expressing your truth boldly and without fear. So, yeah, what's the point of receiving all this soul wisdom if you're not going to share it in some way? And it doesn't have to be this grand affair to share your soul's wisdom. You don't have to speak in front of thousands of people. You could share it in your everyday life, in conversation with a friend or a family member. And that is enough. Sharing with the people you love and sharing that love, even if it's a small spiritual insight, that's still perhaps the nugget somebody else had been needing to heal something within themselves. So by sharing your healing, you're also helping others to heal and extending it, which is an amazing way to pay it forward, you know? You receive the healing and then you give it back to others. The next card is the Green Dragon, a very grounded heart chakra energy. And it helps you to tune into the secrets of nature, receive answers and guidance from nature aligned with your divine essence. So, the Aquamarine Dragon, the first card, is very upper chakras, receiving wisdom, expressing your wisdom, right? But the Green Dragon is more like the lower chakras, which means also connecting with nature, connecting with your physical body, making sure you are fed well enough, that you are receiving enough hydration, enough water, taking care of your physical needs, and connecting also to your physical nature, and not being afraid of that, because a lot of times we can over focus on being spiritual and we don't really focus on what's going on physically in our body. So this is a calling to have balance, as I see the two cards next to each other. And the dragon is holding a little key over here, which is made of a leaf. It's really pretty. And balance is the key. That is what this is, the message this is giving me. Also, tuning into nature can really help you clear your head and receive the answers you've been seeking. It helps bring more peace and joy into your life. So if you haven't been doing that, then that's a great sign to begin doing that, taking maybe a walk in the local park or finding a way to really connect with this nature energy. It's very calming, it's very peaceful, and it also helps to attract a lot of abundance because there's so much abundance in nature. And we can be reminded of that just by looking at it and observing it and maybe, sitting under a tree, meditating, whatever it is that feels good to you to connect with nature. And last but not least is the dusky pink dragon from Andromeda. It's really pretty, very feminine energy. It prepares all of your chakras to embody higher love. Accept and radiate higher love, touch others with its flame. So, when it speaks about the flame of love, instantly my mind goes to twin flames. And yeah, prepares all of your chakras. That means the upper and the lower. We spoke about balance and not being afraid to also pay attention to your physical needs and the spiritual ones at the same time. So, there's a deeper calling for balance here. Because in order to receive love, you can't just receive it in one area and just call it a day. That's not really receiving love. You need to receive it in all areas of your life. And that's the goal of being a unionist. It's about harmony in all areas of your life. It's not about having harmony just with your twin flame, but maybe in your work life it feels really bad and there's a lot of lack of harmony there. And, calling it a day. That's not what this is all about. Being a unionist is all about bringing love in every corner of your consciousness, in every area of your life. And this card is here to remind you of that. And especially those corners that feel very challenging, those are the ones you need to go into in order to receive more love, because your biggest challenges, what waits on the other side, is your biggest blessings. So there's no way around those challenges. But at the same time, that's where you receive the biggest gifts, the biggest breakthroughs. And that's how you can also help others ascend in those areas where you've been challenged. You can help others, you can inspire others on their own journey. And also, I feel like this card is a reminder to just enjoy the joy of life. There's a lot of music at the center, these musical notes. This dragon is really enjoying herself. So that's a really good reminder also to not get too caught up in the seriousness of it all. Your healing doesn't have to be this grand dramatic thing. Sometimes it can feel that way, but it doesn't have to always be that way. You can choose for it to be light and easy and joyful. And even though you're moving through an upset, perhaps, you can still choose to stay in your peace and not let the upset take away from your overall joy. So, this was today's reading. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your Sunday service.
Hello, I'm Laurencio.
And I am Alexandra, and we are introducing today's Sunday service sermon by Jose and Michela, where they talk about loving service.
Yes, and it's a really amazing subject. I really loved it, and it really brings a lot to the table, to say so.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I really love about this subject, to be honest, is that it's something that all of us have in common. We all have to serve God in a way or another, and we all um, like need this aspect. Like it's something that all of us do, and having a way in which to do it in a loving way, to serve in a loving way, it's really nice, and I really love how Jose and Michela go deeper into that, and you'll see how they share their experience into loving service. But still, like one of the points that I really want to bring before that is what they say as well. It's that it is loving service. It is through life purpose, and I really love that because I know this has been something very big, let's say, in our life, in my and Alexandra life, about loving service, and I know how we with our life purpose, how much we have learned to just serve God through it, to serve in an unconditional way, and we had our own challenges about um, seeing about doing it for for love for God, and sometimes having to work through, like having it to do it for money, and having to see, okay, that's not the way to do it for us. And
I mean, that's not service, and that doesn't align
yeah.
with what truly service. I think like service is it's one of the ways in which you can deepen your relationship with God, and it's actually kind of fundamental to practice service as a way for you to really love God back. Service is one of the ways that you do love God back. So therefore, if you're not aligned with this understanding of service, then you're not really serving, you're working. And there is like a slight I think like principle understanding between service and work, because when you serve, you work towards a purpose, and that's where, you know, like your life purpose perfectly ties into this you know, subject.
That's a great point of view.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, Jose and Michela really go deep into the sermon about life purpose, and they quote from the life purpose class, and they give a lot of like perspective of what truly happens when you choose to serve God.
And how they did it and how it happened for them. And it's really nice to see that, and it's nice to see that in your own life. How does that look like?
Yeah, and I really love that it's when you choose to go on the spiritual path, and you might discover, you know, how your what your life purpose is, how you can serve God. It's truly a matter of, you know, surrendering and embracing, you know, what kind of comes for you in the spiritual path, because maybe you're gonna be put like on a journey that you didn't expect. You didn't expect how your life purpose would look like. I think maybe some of us are like really in tune and they have a good idea what their, you know, what their purpose is. But I think like for a lot of us, it might be like, oh, I did not expect that at all. Like this completely took me on a ride that if you would have asked me, you know, 5 or 10 years ago what I would be doing, it would be something completely different, right? And it's okay if that happens, because it is a journey of, you know, self-discovery as well, to truly discover what your purpose is, and how God really asks you to serve Him.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and it's like really personal. It's something very between you and God, what it is, and it's only. I mean, yeah, like others can tell you kind of what can that be, but ultimately it's you who has to get to that awareness of what is the thing that's for you. How do you interact with God? How do you serve God? And until you get to that conclusion, I don't think anybody else can tell you to do that, or like you would be able to actually do that properly until you get to that understanding within yourself that, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I love to do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really about, again, kind of like surrendering what you think you can get from your purpose or from serving God. One of the things that I know it's a tricky thing, it's and tricky thing to like kind of like acknowledge if you're doing this and kind of correct yourself, is if you're trying to serve God to kind of get something from God. You know, like that's um these kind of things will never work with God, because God knows you very intimately and very deeply. God always knows your intention, so therefore you do have to kind of you know, really get clear on your intention here, so you can like commit to loving service, right?
Good. Well, I think that's enough from us. We will let Jose and Michaela speak more about this. So enjoy the sermon.
Enjoy the sermon.
Hi everyone, I'm Jose.
I'm Michaela. Welcome to this week's Sunday sermon. Let us start with the opening ohms and our opening prayer.
now the opening prayer. I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word.
Today I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation.
In Christ's name, Amen.
And welcome back to another week and another sermon.
Mhm.
Today we're going to be talking about service and how to give all, or to have all, you have to give all.
Mhm.
And this is inspired by the class, the Life Purpose class. It's titled similarly, and just a similar lesson.
Mhm.
Just about how service works and how, service leads to wealth and abundance and
Happiness.
and meaning in life, and how, doing your purpose work through, what you're created to do through your life purpose, it may lead you down a path that looks different than what everyone else is doing. And it gets you different results, and it sometimes can seem like your results come like maybe slower or later than what the rest of society is doing. But I think the way that Jeff described it once, I don't know where, but he said it's like if you're on this is where you start with all your peers, you're equal, and one of you on the spiritual path goes phew, and then the other people just they just do their normal linear. But the spiritual path person, because you have to dive deep, into laying a foundation on your purpose, it goes, and then you go, so, so that's how sometimes life purpose can look, and that's why it takes a lot of faith and a lot of surrender and a lot of trust, to live your purpose.
Yes, because it can look very different, especially when maybe it's something new for you, like living your life purpose, and maybe God is pointing you to do something that is maybe new for you or maybe different, and maybe you don't understand it. I remember for me when before we came together, I had my life all planned on what to do for work. I was like, going to be this and do this, and everything was there. And then we came together, and our purpose came, forward.
With that.
Came with that, and I was like, wow, okay, those plans are out. Now God is guiding me in this direction, and it's very new for me. It's very different. I could feel it, but it can be like scary at first. It's like, oh my God, that's like a lot. But if you follow the path, you discover that it's really beautiful, and even the challenges are very nice when you look back on them. You see all the growth and all the lessons that you are learning, and we want to speak about that, how important it is to really embrace those lessons and those experiences that come with your life purpose and with service itself.
So what makes the life purpose journey different than just a regular career path is that it's you have to do it with God. And so it can look at first like you just need to have a lot of faith and make like a really big investment into whatever it is that you're doing. And for us it just looked like doing a lot of stuff, and it was really hard to have like little breakthroughs, like it feels like you put in a lot of effort and get a little out in return, but you always tend to have like just enough to survive. But as you keep going, that snowballs, and it's like God testing you to see like, are you doing this for money, or are you doing it for a higher purpose, for God,
or for any other reason, maybe attention, maybe status, or whatever it might be. And this is something that society teaches you a lot, is that purpose, maybe to get that thing, or to get that position, or to get
money,
or to get whatever it is. it feels very empty. It gives you something, but if you feel into it, it's very devoid of meaning. And this is the difference with your life purpose. There is actually a meaning behind it, and that brings you a lot of peace and a lot of, I don't know, a lot of comfort. It's like, I know that I'm doing something meaningful, and maybe I don't see the results I want yet, but I'm just loving God and doing service, and that feels very good in every situation. You just do it out of love, and you are in love by doing it. So it feels very nice.
Yeah, and it's just about loving others through your purpose and just, you know, wanting to do that, like the motivation of whatever your purpose is, like loving others is a part of it. And no matter whose purpose it is, that's part of it. And as you start to learn how to do that and master unconditional love through these teachings, the teachings of union, you will naturally grow in like inner wealth and inner abundance, which is going to naturally translate to outer abundance. But I think the most important difference between, you know, going your life purpose route and going like a normal career path route is the meaning, you know, and the, you know, the money that you make or support that you receive for your purpose just feels so much better than it, you know, if you do it for the money, like it can feel really empty. Like once you actually finally get there, there's no real meaning behind it, and so.
And you're a slave.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a life that you don't feel happy with, and now you need to be a slave of that life. So instead of that, you can maybe take a little longer route at the beginning. It may look like a lot more of work because you are doing the spiritual work and the physical work, and it's a lot more than you expect. There is this Twitter from Jeff that is very beautiful about doing things with God. Normally takes a little more of time.
A lot more.
A lot more of time, but what is it?
No, it says it may take more. It usually takes way more than you think it does, but it's way better than you expected when you do it with God. Yeah, and I think like living your purpose is just about getting up every day and just doing the thing that you're called to do without seeking anything from it. Like it's not about getting some sort of result. It's just about living as you're called to live, and that's the thing that like fills your life with meaning. And then when you have the breakthroughs, they feel so good, you know, because you know that each breakthrough you have represents the love that you've given, and it's just coming back to you, and it just has a lot of meaning, and it feels really, really nice.
Yeah, it is very nice to see the results of your effort, and maybe it's very small, but it is full of love, it's full of meaning, and that really brings you the desire to keep doing it, to keep moving forward, because maybe you feel lack of motivation. Look at what you are actually doing. How is your love affecting others? Because if you are really loving your purpose or whoever you are working with unconditionally, that literally can change the life of someone, and you don't know the chain reaction that can manifest in the life of a lot of people. Your love really has a lot of power, and it's only about you surrendering to it and sharing it openly. I remember something that Jeff told us recently about, it's not about working more, it's about loving more, and it's about you surrendering to that love and sharing it without hesitation. And when you do that, is when God really pays you back. You know, God really serves you back for everything you gave to Him through others.
Yeah, and another thing Shaleia said recently was, it was like when you love someone else, like you make them feel really good. When you genuinely love somebody, you know that like you can look back on your life and feel when someone really loved you, and you know how that feels, and it makes that person just like think about you and think really highly of you, and that means that God is thinking about you because you're loving His children, you know, and they're thinking nice thoughts and feeling really good about you, and so God feels that way about you, and so then He sends you more people and more opportunities, you know, and it kind of snowballs, and it turns into just all opportunities, because no matter what your life purpose is, it requires loving, loving others. And this, I thought that was nice, because I always feel that way when I feel loved. Like, you think about that, you feel that in your heart, and you reflect on it, and you never forget that feeling.
Yeah, you always remember, because if you are having all of that love within yourself and for God, the most natural thing in the world is to share it with others. And it's the only thing that makes you really happy, is to share it, because if you keep it, it feels very like bad. You are not really honoring the gift that you received. So the more normal thing to do is, hey, God gave me this, I will give it back. I will share it. So all of us can have fun. All of us can be with this love, and that feels very good for everyone. Because when you are loving someone, it feels very good to you too, because you are loving God through them, and you are loving yourself through them. So if you are denying love to someone in the way that they are asking to be loved, you are just denying yourself that love, and you are denying God that love that He is asking of you. If God is asking you to be loved through a person or through a situation, are you willing to love it through it? Or maybe you hold back, or maybe avoid it, or maybe get upset or uncomfortable or afraid. But it's about showing up. Is God calls you here, go there and do whatever you need to do. Love the situation completely. And if you do that, you will move to the next level, and you will have that feeling in your heart of, I love this completely. If you don't love it, you are not going to really move through it, and you get stuck because you are refusing to give the next piece, and it's going to keep happening until you give it.
In the life purpose class that we referenced at the beginning, this is something that Jeff and Shaleia really touch on, is when you receive a gift, the purpose of receiving that gift is to extend it and to share it. Because if you don't receive, or if you don't share it, then you didn't really receive it, and you can't keep it. So receiving a gift is meant to be shared. There's no, that counts for harmonious union. And just this teaching in general, it's a huge gift for all of us who received it. And that's why it's like a, very important piece of this is to extend it outward to others. And that's how you expand it, that's how you keep it, that's how you grow it and honor it, is by sharing it.
Yes, because everyone is asking for it around you, probably. And this is something that we noticed living our life purpose. Everything that we went through and every lesson that we learned, we could share it with others. And God put the situation for us to share it. Like a person maybe moving through the same thing, or maybe through something very similar. And it's like, wow, I moved through it, and now I can help someone so much. I can save them a lot of headache and pain here if I can share the insight. And if you can share your insights, maybe that person doesn't need to go through the same. You just get the lesson, and it's like, oh, that's true. And you learn that lesson. That's the power of like union with others, community, and sharing your healing and listening to others,
sharing.
Because you see, oh, that lesson is good, and you don't make the mistake because you already remember that. And it's like,
I think there's a Yogananda quote that where Yogananda says that you don't have to go through every single human experience in order to learn. You can learn from the experiences of others. I always find that really comforting, that I can see the big challenges that I went through in my journey, and I can help someone else not have to go through that. I find that really touching, and I think Jeff and Shaleia talk about that a lot throughout their classes, is that when they came into harmonious union, they healed the gateway to harmonious union, and so no one else will have to go through what they went through, and I always felt very loved that they shared that they healed that first, they broke through, the veil, and they made it possible for everyone. And I feel like part of us sharing that gift is also sharing our lessons and experiences with the people we speak to or help. That we can kind of like pay it forward, I guess, and continue, and then in their way they continue to help other people, and then it gets easier and easier and easier for everyone, and it spreads, and there's many ways. It's you just share it sometimes just in your energy or your being and your just who you are and how you love people, even if you're not actively sharing spiritual stuff with them or the work like directly with them, you're still sharing it through love, and that really does have ripple effects, like you were saying.
Yeah, it really makes a difference. Like maybe some person just need a little gesture of love, and that makes their day, and that really makes a change in their life, makes a change in, I don't know, like their trajectory. I think all of us remember, like maybe in our past, some points when we were very loved by someone. You don't forget those points, and sometimes you look back and it's like, wow, that love there made me take this path right now, or make that choice that now is really my life. That little thing that looks very small in the moment, but it can literally cause so much change in your life.
Yeah.
And observing others, like we were saying, I remember when I joined the community and I joined TIFAS, I was like, wow, thank you for moving through that. So I don't need to move through that challenge. I can learn from this experience. And it takes courage to move through them and to share them with others. But that is part of loving others, is loving yourself and learning your lessons so you can actually expand the gift.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing about life purpose is that you love. You know, like it doesn't matter how skilled you are, how hardworking you are, how educated you are, how trained, or how good at all of these things that you are. Like at the core, if it's not about loving others, then it's not really like you're not really doing anything. And that's the most important thing that creates true wealth. Like if you do it with a pure heart and you don't go in it looking for any type of money, that feels really bad and makes you miserable. But when you do it to like love others and to love God, it's like very worthwhile, and you can do it indefinitely, and eventually it's going to start paying off for you. Like eventually you're going to start receiving that love back, and maybe you receive it back sooner rather than later. But what we found with like purpose work is it's something you invest a lot of yourself into for a long period of time, and that's what life purpose class teaches. And eventually you really do start receiving like new levels, of abundance. But it can't be about that, I feel like for us personally, like God really tested us over and over and over again about why we're doing this. And
what do you want?
Yeah, and if it's about loving God and loving others, then nothing will stop you, no challenge, no setback. You're just gonna naturally keep going. Like it's the air you breathe, kind of like it's just your nature.
Yeah.
And so you're just gonna keep doing it and working through the challenges that come up. That's the key to your life purpose is your eternal purpose, and so doing it from love and for love and just to love others for love, it creates that eternal foundation so you can keep up forever and ever and ever. Yeah,
and it is a very deep foundation, because if you want to build great things in your life, you require a lot of it. And looking back, maybe we didn't get like external results so fast in our journey, but we were getting constant experience and purification, and God was paying us back in that way.
That's true.
Like you start and maybe it's like a lot of hard work and a lot of challenges and blocks and things, and it's like, oh my God, what is this? And
no one else is going through
no one else is moving through this, why me? All of this.
Yeah,
but that challenge is purifying you, so you get that.
And it's going somewhere.
Yeah, and it's going somewhere, and that challenge is teaching you something, a very valuable lesson. I think for us, we move through very difficult challenges sometimes, super valuable lessons in those moments. And those lessons, you keep them with you forever, and they really are the foundation of your life, because you don't make that mistake again, or you know how to do it properly this time. So you are constantly getting back from God, but you cannot control the way it is. God is the one that decides how to pay you, and sometimes it's through experience, sometimes it's through giving back to you, through maybe a relationship improving, maybe through, I don't know, whatever it is, but there is always a giving back. if you are truly giving. It's only about being open to see it, where it's coming from. I think sometimes maybe we don't see all the blessings in our life, but you can look around and it's like, wow, God is really loving me for this.
We have so much abundance.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially anyone who has this teaching, like huge
That's
abundance.
already huge. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we don't, as a collective, compare our journeys to anyone else's journey, and just know like it really does take a lot of faith to just to keep going and not compare yourself to anyone else, because like I said at the beginning, you may look like you're going like deep into the ground, like you're going deep to dig that foundation. And Jeff and Shaleia talk about this all the time through our life purpose class, is that for a lot, like when a foundation is being laid, you don't really see much happening, but there is a lot happening, on the core base reality level in this work. Like a lot of times you go really deep within and you're just doing the inner work and clearing out the blocks and learning the lessons, but really you're building a really vast and strong foundation. And then you can start building. And I remember something that Jeff and Shaleia said also is, once the foundation is laid, it goes up pretty fast.
Yeah.
And that's why on this journey you tend to see a lot of inner work being done and no results, maybe little results, and then all of a sudden, boom, huge results, and next level, and then you do a lot of work on that level, and then another huge upgrade, and that's kind of how it works. But I think it's really important to just have faith in yourself and in God on this journey and in what you're doing, and not compare yourself to anyone else, because you're walking a path that is of God, and so it's going to look different than any worldly path. And of course the world will say, well, look at you, you're sitting in your room feeling your traumas and doing the mirror exercise, and we're out having fun and living life. But that's not true, because what you're doing is creating like a life that is perfect. You're creating your heaven on earth, and it's safe to do the work to achieve that.
It pays off like so much more than you can expect. So it's just loving. It's very simple. Just keep loving whatever is in front of you. Like, you don't literally lose anything by keeping up, by keep loving yourself, by loving others. You are only receiving back and gaining more. And that's the point of service. You do it, it's unconditional love. The unconditional part, you don't expect anything. You do it because you want to do it. In the moment that you do it to get something,
it feels bad.
It feels bad. Why do you want to get that something? You are missing the point. It's about really loving God, because God loves you so much. Doesn't expect anything from you. You must learn to do the same. And that is what this teaching shows you, is that pure love that you can achieve in your heart. And it's the only one that feels actually good. The one that feels peaceful.
And when you do receive, because you always do receive, for the love that you give, you always will receive, and it will feel really good. But it's not about focusing on that. It's not about the receiving, it's about the giving. And then the receiving is just excellent. It feels good, and then you can keep going. But it really is about the giving, and I feel like that's where your freedom is.
Yep. Well, that's perfect.
So thank you all so much for joining us, and please join us for our closing ohms and our closing prayer.
Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life and will follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere, and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me clarity in this teaching of union, that I may be forever in union with you.
I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word, and will share your teaching with him in any way you ask, and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him.
In Christ's name, Amen.
Speaking this prayer in your heart means that you have accepted you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator.
And now the closing arms.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week for the next sermon.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed the sermon.
I know we certainly did. And one thing I want to mention, kind of like in conclusion, is to really like allow yourself to take in this sermon and, see what you can take from it, what you can apply from it. I think it was like a really great kind of fundamental kind of sermon where you can.
I think you wanted to say two words in the same time.
Yes, I did wanted to say two words.
Fundamental and
Foundational.
Foundational.
Foundational. Fun, whatever I said. Anyway, it was really like a foundational sermon that you can kind of go back and go deeper with. And I think like Jose and Michael are really the people that you can listen to about this subject, because they really went through this. Like they really have applied this in their life, and they have, went on this path. Like you can see Michaela from the Twin Flame Ascension School classes and where she started and where she is right now, together with Jose. Both of them have worked really hard in the life purpose work. So I think like they are indeed like great role models for you to kind of take into account here, and to, listen.
Yes, and what I really loved about it is, some things that I really thought they were really nice was about the fact that, what they shared about diving deep and really going in those places, like going to the bottom, or how to put this, like when they shared about the fact that on this journey, when people go forward, they just keep going like this, but they don't really grow too much. But us that really choose to dive deep into our life, to really like serve God and really go with our life purpose, we're just going down, we're just going deep into the places where actual foundation it is, where our spiritual foundation, to be able to grow our spiritual foundation. I really love that. It's a really like great way to put it, and it's it is like that. You have no way to avoid that, and knowing that what we're doing, and even though it looks like okay we're going down, as everybody else looks like it's keep going a little bit up, well, even though we're going down like that, we are kind of building something real, and then we're able to just like go up so much more. And like Jeff and Shea are another great example of this. They have really shown us this, and they, through their journey, they have shown how they did that deep down. They went down to the bottom, and they rose so much upper.
I think like Jeff and Shea are like a motivational story if you kind of follow them from the very beginning, like how just seeing like one of their earlier YouTube videos versus how they were like into Twin Ascension schools, or some of the earlier most recent YouTube videos on their YouTube channel. You can see the transformation that they have went through applying loving service and following the life purpose. So if you have any doubt about following your life purpose and really delving deep in service, loving service towards God, then I invite you to look at them as inspiration, and apply the principles in your own life and see how they transform you. And have faith. Have faith that, you know, God wouldn't put you through like these challenges without any good reason in mind, right?
Yep. I
And
totally
you had a
agree.
quote.
Yes. To have all, give all. I really love that. It's a really good one.
Yeah, it's a really good quote. I loved it as well, and it really speaks about like how kind of like in order for you to serve God truly, you have to kind of dedicate fully and completely to God, and through doing that, you kind of manifest that union with God, that harmonious union, and you do get to have all by going all in with God, which I think is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Let's all make a choice this week, and not only this week, but this week, to go deeper into giving all of ourselves to God. You don't have to give all of yourself to people or situations or, you know, anything like that. No, no, no. Just to God. God deserves to have all of you.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So, if you are interested to know more about what we're doing and follow along our journeys in like the Church of Union, see previous sermons, you can like and subscribe like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to do that. And also you can visit the unionism.org website, where you can also tithe or donate to support us. Also, right after the service is over, we will have our usual after church tea time, where a group of unionists will speak about the subject of the sermon today and dive deeper with it. So feel free to join us.
Yep.
There.
Yeah, thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Have a great week.